Hey everyone, Ray Cole here from Legends Audio. Today we're doing something special, our 12 favorite vintage JBL speakers. JBL has been making legendary speakers for decades, from the iconic L100S that appeared in the famous Maxell poster to hidden gems that most people still sleep on. Whether you love that classic warm JBL sound, the crazy 70S designs, or speakers that hit way harder than their size suggests, this video is for you. I've owned, repaired, and listened to a ton of these over the years, so I'm sharing the ones that really stuck with me, no strict ranking, just the speakers I genuinely love and would recommend. Stick around because some of these might surprise you. Let's dive in. Let's start with a speaker that holds a very special place in my collection, the JBL LX44 and LX55 from the late 80s. This was my very first JBL experience, and it left a lasting impression. These three-way speakers were produced between 1987 and 1992 and came in attractive walnut or black finishes. They weren't flagship models, but they delivered surprisingly solid performance at a price point that made them accessible to many enthusiasts. I still remember spotting my first pair on Craigslist for just $40. They needed new foam surrounds, so I did the refoam myself. The moment I powered them up after the repair, I was genuinely impressed. The mid-range is warm and smooth, the bass has good weight for their size, and the highs are detailed without being harsh. They have that easy, enjoyable character that makes you want to keep playing record after record. For a consumer-grade JBL, they punch well above their weight. These are fantastic for anyone just starting their JBL journey or looking for great sound without breaking the bank. The walnut finish still looks classy in most rooms, and they pair nicely with a wide range of amplifiers. The main thing to watch is the foam surrounds, which tend to degrade over time. When shopping, I recommend looking for clean walnut cabinets and testing the woofers carefully. A well-maintained pair can usually be found between $150 and $400 and still deliver years of musical enjoyment. If you're starting your JBL journey or want something reliable and fun, the LX series is a fantastic entry point. Hit like if you're a JBL fan, subscribe to Legends Audio, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. One of the speakers that instantly won me over the first time I heard it is the JBL L65 Jubel, a true 70s classic with a very special voice. These three-way speakers were made in the 1970s and are instantly recognizable thanks to their unique glass top and that famous crystal slot tweeter. They have a strong presence and that unmistakable 70s JBL styling that still turns heads today. The moment I first auditioned a pair, I knew I wasn't selling them. The tweeter is the star of the show, incredibly detailed, delicate, and perfectly balanced. The overall sound is refined, tight bass with good extension, a rich and present mid-range, and sparkling highs that never become fatiguing. It strikes a great middle ground, energetic enough for rock and funk, yet smooth enough for jazz and vocals. With proper stands or tilt, the imaging and clarity are excellent. These are ideal for people who love that classic 70s JBL aesthetic and want a speaker that does many things well. They have strong visual impact and a balanced signature that works in many different systems. The main practical issue is tweeter height. Sitting flat on the floor, it aims too low, so stands or a gentle tilt are recommended. The glass top is also loose and can slide off if you're not careful. Good examples usually sell between $800 and $1,000. $800 depending on condition. When shopping, check the glass for cracks and make sure the foam surrounds are in decent shape. A well-maintained Jubel is a speaker you'll keep for a long time and always enjoy showing off. Hit like, subscribe to Legends Audio, and turn on notifications. If you love speakers with real character and a story behind them, the JBL C38 Baron from the 1960s is one that always gets me excited. These were modular speakers, meaning you could start with a basic cabinet and gradually upgrade the drivers and crossover as your budget allowed. They typically came with a 1.2 inch or 1.5 inch woofer option, giving owners a lot of flexibility. The design is clean and iconic with that classic JBL look from the golden era. I first came across a pair at a local antique mall. They had sat there for over a year before I brought them home. A JBL loving friend immediately wanted them, so we modded the pair with a 075 bullet tweeter and an N2000 400 crossover. The transformation was night and day. The sound became incredibly open, detailed, and dynamic. That 075 tweeter is a heavyweight, around 6 pounds, and adds serious sparkle and clarity. These are perfect for enthusiasts who enjoy tinkering and customizing their system. The modular nature means you can tailor them to your taste over time. They also have that strong 60s visual appeal that looks fantastic in both retro and modern rooms. The main challenge is finding complete, original examples with all the right drivers and adapters. Some cabinets may need work on internal bracing or wiring. Good restored or well-equipped pairs can sell between $1,200 and $2,500 depending on configuration. When shopping, look for examples that still have the correct woofer adapter plates and check the condition of the cabinet internals. A properly set up C38 Baron is a unique and rewarding speaker that rewards both listening and tinkering. One of the most elegant and distinctive speakers from the 1960s that still turns heads today is the JBL C56 Dorian. Introduced around 1966, this three-way system featured a 1/4-inch LE14 woofer paired with an LE20 tweeter and a sophisticated crossover. What makes it truly special is the heavy marble top, a luxurious touch that gave it a high-end furniture feel typical of that era. The cabinet is substantial and the overall design carries that classic mid-century sophistication. The first time I heard a properly set up pair, I was struck by how refined yet powerful the sound was. With the marble top adding mass and resonance control, the bass is deep and authoritative while staying tight. The mid-range has beautiful clarity and vocal presence, and the highs are smooth and extended. It's the kind of speaker that makes jazz, acoustic guitar, and vocal recordings feel intimate and alive. Once you tilt or raise it properly, the imaging opens up beautifully. These are perfect for enthusiasts who appreciate both sonic performance and striking visual design. They look incredible in a living room or dedicated listening space and bring a touch of vintage luxury that few other speakers can match. The main practical challenge is the weight of the marble top and the need for proper positioning. Sitting flat on the floor, the tweeters aim too low, so stands or a gentle tilt is highly recommended. The marble also makes them quite heavy to move. Good restored examples typically sell between $1,500 and $3,000 per pair, depending on condition. When shopping, check the marble for cracks or chips and make sure the drivers are original and functioning. A well-maintained C56 Dorian is a rare and rewarding find that combines beautiful aesthetics with genuinely enjoyable sound. That's the C56 Dorian, a piece of 60s elegance. Next is an absolute icon that almost everyone recognizes. Few speakers have achieved the cultural status of the JBL L100 Century. This is the one that appeared in the famous Maxell Blown Away poster and became a symbol of 1970s hi-fi culture. Launched in the early 1970s as a three-way system, the L100 featured the iconic orange foam grille, a 1/2-inch woofer, and that unmistakable JBL house sound. It was designed to be both stylish and powerful, and it succeeded on both fronts. I've spent a lot of time with these over the years, and they never fail to bring energy to the room. The bass is bold and punchy, the mid-range is lively and present, and the highs have that classic JBL sparkle. They're incredibly fun with rock, funk, and upbeat music, the kind of speaker that makes you want to turn it up. While some prefer the studio-oriented 4311 version for a slightly more balanced presentation, the L100 has that extra excitement and visual flair that makes it so iconic. These are perfect for anyone who wants a speaker with strong personality and instant recognition. They look fantastic in almost any room and are relatively easy to sell if you ever decide to move on. The main thing to watch is the orange foam grille. It degrades over time and replacements can be expensive. When buying, check the condition of the foam and the woofers carefully. A well-preserved pair can usually be found between $800 and $2,000, depending on originality and condition. The L100 isn't just a speaker, it's a cultural icon. If you want that classic 70s vibe with real musical energy, this is hard to beat. Next up is its studio sibling that many purists actually prefer for critical listening. While the L100 gets all the poster fame, many serious listeners actually prefer its studio-oriented sibling, the JBL 4311. This compact three-way monitor from the 1970s was designed for accurate playback in professional environments. It uses the same driver lineup as the L100, but in a smaller, more controlled cabinet, resulting in a tighter and more detailed presentation. From my experience, the 4311 offers a more balanced and refined sound than the standard L100. The bass is tighter and better controlled. The mid-range is clearer with excellent vocal intelligibility, and the highs are smooth yet detailed. It's the kind of speaker that reveals more nuance in well-recorded material while still retaining that signature JBL energy. I've used them in both studio style and home setups, and they consistently impress with their clarity and coherence. These are ideal for listeners who want the classic JBL sound but with better accuracy and control. They work great in smaller to medium rooms and are especially loved by those who do critical listening or value tonal balance. The main consideration is finding good original condition examples. Like the L100, the foam grills can degrade and driver condition varies widely. When shopping, look for studio used units that were well maintained. They often sound better and hold value well. Good pairs typically sell between $900 and $2,200. The 4311 proves that JBL could do both fun and accurate. If you love the L100 look but want a more refined presentation, this is the one to consider. JBL L66 Horizon. Among the more unique and visually striking speakers from the JBL Golden era, the L66 Horizon stands out as one that always sparks conversation the moment people see it. Introduced in the late 1960s, this three-way system featured a distinctive horizontal design with a large woofer, mid-range, and that special high-frequency driver. The cabinet was engineered to sit low and project sound in a wide pattern, making it ideal for larger living rooms of the period. It combined JBL's signature robust build with a bold, almost futuristic aesthetic for its time. The first time I heard a properly positioned pair, I was impressed by how cohesive and lively the sound was. The bass is surprisingly full and extended for the cabinet size, the mid-range has excellent clarity and presence, and the highs are detailed and smooth. It has that classic JBL energy, but with a touch more refinement than some of the louder studio monitors. Compared to the more conventional L100, the L66 feels a bit more open and spacious, especially in the imaging department. One friend who owns a pair uses them for both vinyl and modern streaming, and he says they handle everything from intimate jazz to full-scale orchestral recordings with surprising grace. These are perfect for collectors who appreciate distinctive 60S, 70S design and want a speaker that's both eye-catching and musically engaging. They bring a strong sense of personality to a room and work well in medium to large spaces. The biggest practical challenge is the egg crate style grill. The plastic material is fragile and prone to dents or cracks, and replacements are extremely difficult to find. When shopping, inspect the grill very carefully. Even small damage can significantly affect the value and aesthetics. Proper positioning is also important. They benefit from being raised or angled slightly for optimal high-frequency coverage. Good restored examples typically sell between $1,000 and $2,500 per pair. If you come across a clean set with intact grills, it's often worth considering. These are rarer than many people realize and can be a real conversation piece in any collection. Sometimes the smallest speakers in a lineup deliver the biggest surprises, and the JBL L26 is a perfect example of that phenomenon. This compact two-way system from the 1970s features a smaller woofer paired with a high-quality tweeter in a relatively small cabinet. Despite its modest size, it was engineered with the same attention to detail as JBL's larger models. I've had the chance to audition several pairs over the years, and every time I'm reminded how special they are. The L26 has a fast, articulate character that punches well above its physical size. The bass is surprisingly tight and tuneful, the mid-range is clear and expressive, and the highs are detailed without being edgy. Compared to larger three-way systems like the L100, the L26 feels more agile and coherent, almost like a miniature monitor. A good JBL friend of mine always says the same thing. There's just something special in that speaker. I completely agree. It has a magic that makes you forget it's a small box. These are ideal for listeners with smaller rooms, apartment dwellers, or anyone who wants JBL sound without the massive footprint. They also make excellent near-field monitors or secondary speakers in a larger system. The main challenge is availability. They are quite rare on the used market. When one appears, it often sells quickly. When shopping, check the woofer surrounds carefully and listen for balanced output across the frequency range. A well-preserved pair can usually be found between $600 and $1,000 $400. If you ever come across a clean set of L26s, I strongly recommend grabbing them. They prove that great sound doesn't always require a huge cabinet. And next is one of the most legendary and rare JBL designs ever made. JBL Paragon, honorable mention. No discussion of great JBL speakers would be complete without mentioning one of the most legendary and elusive designs in the company's history, the Paragon. Introduced in the 1950s and kept in production for an incredibly long run, longer than any other JBL model, the Paragon is a massive, curved, multi-driver system designed for ultimate high-fidelity reproduction. It featured large woofers, mid-range horns, and high-frequency drivers in a sophisticated folded horn enclosure that was as much furniture as it was a speaker. I've never had the chance to hear a real Paragon in person, but the stories and recordings I've heard are legendary. The sound is described as incredibly spacious, dynamic, and effortless, with bass that fills the room naturally and a sense of scale that few modern speakers can match. Many who have experienced one say it's the closest thing to being there in the golden era of JBL. It's the kind of speaker that makes people travel across states just for a listening session. This is the ultimate dream speaker for serious JBL collectors and those who want the pinnacle of vintage high-end audio. Its long production run and unique design make it a true icon of loudspeaker history. The biggest challenge, of course, is rarity. Original Paragons almost never come up for sale, and when they do, they command extremely high prices, often $10,000 and well above for good examples. Many have been modified or restored over the decades. If you ever get the opportunity to hear or own a Paragon, consider it a once-in-a-lifetime experience. For now, it remains the holy grail for many of us in the vintage audio world. JBL 412 studio monitor. One of the most practical and popular studio monitors JBL ever made is the 4312, a compact three-way system that brings professional accuracy into the home. Introduced in the 1970s, the 4312 features a 1-2-inch woofer, mid-range driver, and high-frequency horn in a relatively small cabinet. It was designed for studio use, but became a favorite among home listeners who wanted clarity and balance without a massive footprint. I've used the 4312 inches, both near-field and main listening setups, and it consistently delivers. The bass is tight and well controlled for its size. The mid-range is clear and natural with excellent vocal reproduction, and the highs are detailed without fatigue. Compared to the larger L100, it feels more precise and less colored, making it great for critical listening and mixing. Many engineers and serious hobbyists still prefer it for its honest presentation. These are perfect for smaller rooms, desktop setups, or anyone who wants JBL sound in a more manageable size. They're also relatively easy to find and service. Good examples typically sell between $700 and $1,500 per pair. When shopping, check the foam surrounds and listen for balanced output. A well-maintained 4312 remains one of the most versatile and enjoyable studio monitors from the golden era. JBL Decade L36. For those looking for an affordable entry into classic JBL sound, the Decade series, including the L36, is a smart and enjoyable option. These speakers were produced in the 1970s as more accessible models in JBL's lineup. They feature a simpler three-way or two-way configuration in a compact cabinet, offering good performance without the high cost of the flagship models. I've had several Decade models come through the shop, and they never fail to impress for the price. The sound is lively and energetic with solid bass for their size, clear mids, and smooth highs. They have that recognizable JBL character, but in a more everyday friendly package. They're especially fun with rock, pop, and upbeat music, and they pair well with a wide range of amplifiers. These are ideal for first-time JBL buyers, smaller rooms, or anyone on a budget who still wants that classic JBL vibe. They're also easy to service and hold their value well. Good examples usually sell between $400 and $900 per pair. When shopping, check the surrounds and listen for any imbalance. A clean Decade or L36 can be a fantastic starter speaker that gives you a real taste of JBL without a huge investment. That's the Decade series proof that great sound doesn't always need a big price tag. JBL Aquarius Project Series, 1970s. For something truly different and fun from the 1970s, the JBL Aquarius and Project Series speakers are worth discovering. These models featured unique, futuristic designs with distinctive cabinets and driver configurations that stood out from the usual boxy speakers of the era. They were part of JBL's effort to blend high performance with bold aesthetics. I've auditioned a few Aquarius models over the years, and they always bring a smile. The sound is lively and engaging with good bass extension, clear mids, and that signature JBL sparkle in the highs. They have a fun, energetic character that makes them enjoyable for casual listening and parties. The unusual cabinet shapes also give them a strong visual presence that sparks conversation. These are perfect for collectors who want something off the beaten path, or anyone who enjoys 70s design flair, along with solid sound. They add personality to a room and work well in eclectic setups. Good examples typically sell between $500 and $1,200 per pair. When shopping, check the condition of the unique grills and cabinets, as replacement parts can be difficult to find. A well-preserved Aquarius is a cool and conversation-starting addition to any collection. And that's our 12 favorite vintage JBL speakers. From the warm and musical LX series to the legendary Paragon, JBL has given us so many iconic designs over the decades. Whether you're just starting your collection or you're a longtime JBL lover, there's something special about these speakers that keeps us coming back. They don't just play music, they bring character, history, and that classic JBL soul into the room. Which one is your favorite? Have you owned any of these? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing your stories. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, subscribe to Audio Legends, and turn on the bell so you don't miss future guides and deep dives. Thanks for watching, stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next one.